So in today's video, I'm going to be breaking down how I went from zero knowledge to being able to take my first funding challenge. I'm going to be breaking down the process of studying the basic note work of trading, through to naked charting, back testing, building the Notion, building the website Notion as a way to track all of my progress through these certain steps. I'll break it down later in the video. Going into the weekly hyper learning calls that I do. Also be going into the importance of having a circle of people around you that you can bounce ideas off and learn from. Finally, how I was able to start my funding challenge, which I started with FTMO, and yeah, can't wait just to break it down for you and show you the step-by-step process and, you know, the actual real side of trading and how it is there is a process into going into learning. So if this is something you're interested in, stay around to the end of the video. Let's get into it. If you guys have clicked on this video, that means that you are interested in seeing the step-by-step process in which I personally have went around learning the forex market. And you know, it differs from people to, like, from person to person, but this is how I've done it. This is how my friends have been teaching me. And yeah, the first point that I wanted to make in this is, I've got it written up here on my whiteboard, let me show you. So the first most important one I found is time equals results. So let me write this down for you right now. So I feel like I was quite lucky in my introduction into the world of the financial market and forex game. I know a lot of people might think it's a scam. You know, there is a lot of like scams out there, and people that aren't, you know, don't have the best intentions in the market. Look, my first introduction to it was through my friend Kyle, also known as KBFX. I've worked with him on the channel before. Was through him I saw him studying it for a good 3 years before I really started to get involved. And it was through him and Zentum Trading as well. We went to a meetup with them late last year around Christmas, which gave me like a bit of an eye opener to what it is actually like. And you know, I feel like I'm quite lucky to have that introduction, as there was people there I could trust in the game. And the biggest one for me, what I've got written there, is that they showed me that it is not a quick game. You're not going to get in and get results straight away. It's going to take time, it's going to take effort, and you know, it's going to take a lot of consistency if you want to get those results. And you know, I've only just started the funding challenge. I'm not past. I haven't even took a trade on the account yet, so I'm not even like, you know, I've only really got my foot in the door, and I've been learning for around 8 months now consistently. But that's what it's took me to even get to the point of feeling confident enough to take the challenge. So that's one point that I wanted to stress, is that if you're looking at getting involved in trading, don't assume that you don't have to put the time in and you don't have to put the effort in. It is like everything else in life. You know, I'm an electrician outside of this, and I've been studying an apprenticeship for coming up 4 years now, and I'm only just now going to be able to take my exam to become fully qualified. So you know, trading is like anything in life. The time and effort you put in will reflect through your results. So that's the first point that I just needed to get out of the way before we start anything else. So yeah, time equals results. If you want to get in the financial market, if you want to get in the forex game, be prepared to put in the effort, and you know, set aside the time. Don't put a time frame on, like, I need to get it done in X amount of time. Just say, I'm going to start this, I'm going to stay consistent at it week through week, and you know, the time's going to pass by anyway. So as long as you're staying consistent in your studies, the results will come. You know, it may come faster for some people, it may come slower for some people, but it's all dependent on you, but the results will come. So yeah, that's the first point. Hold on, let me do this. So with that out of the way, let's get into the start of the process. The start of my process, the first key moment in how I started learning. So let me write it up here. So the first order that we went in, personally for me, was the note work. I don't know, a lot of people are gonna say, oh, I don't want to do no studying. I did a lot of that in school. But I found this was actually very important upon reflection. So, got myself a notebook when I first started learning, and in this we covered all like the basic knowledge that you do really need, to be fair, before you even get on any software like TradingView or anything. Do you know what I mean? So in this I learned about what price action is. I learned about just key points about the financial market itself, about how much money's traded, about how day traders can't move the market. We can't control anything. We just go with the flow, and it's about moving with the big players in the market, how to take opportunities when they come. Obviously this is stuff that you figure out like later on, and you come back to it and you learn more about it, but this is key stuff to know. You can't we need to learn this before you get into anything. And then so moving on from that, I learned about what currency pairs are, what currency pairs we're going to trade. So I have started learning on AUD, USD, Australian dollar to US dollar. I learned what pips are, the 90-90-90 rule, the risk management strategy, what that actually is. So me and myself, we only risk 1% per trade. I'm sure quite a lot of people do. That's quite a common thing, but that's important as well. Slippage, compounding interest. We've got a lot of stuff here. Going into what backtesting is, the importance of backtesting. We'll get onto that later. This is a very important one. Journaling your trades. I'll go a bit more in depth to it when it comes to backtesting, because that's when you journal your trades. But the importance of when you take a trade and backtesting, to log it. If it's a win or a loss. Or even if I've missed a few trades, I've still journaled them. I won't put the actual results down, so it won't skew my data, but I still log the ones I've missed. Just, it's a good habit to do. I'll get into this a bit more later though. Your highs and your lows, how to set your highs and your lows, the basics of them. And then we got into what the candlesticks actually are, what they mean, the open and close, and then the highs and the lows with wicks, the market opens and close, what ascending channels and descending channels are, what they look like. We've done all these drawings and sketches going into it, so it's all just the basic knowledge that you're going to need to have before you even get into it. And when I was learning it, I didn't realise why I was doing this, but it will help a lot when it comes to actually jumping into TradingView. When you've been drawing in these ascending and descending channels, and you've never seen one before, you're not going to know what it means. But then you load in TradingView and you get shown what they are, and you start seeing what you've been learning prior, and it all starts coming back to you. It all starts ticking forward. And we covered so much. We got the pairs, backtesting pairs, the psychology of trading. That's a really important one. The psychology behind how you trade and how losses can affect your mental state in it. Spread hours, liquidity, impulse and momentum. We've gone a lot into pair characteristics again. And so this is very important. If you're going to start learning to trade, and somebody's telling you straight away to jump into TradingView, I'm not going to sit here because I'm not an expert in it, but me personally, I feel like, you don't jump into a career in engineering and go straight into learning how to fix a car. You gotta study what a car is, what an engine is, do you know what I mean? What the parts are in it. you know what I mean? So then when you come to it, you're like, oh, you know what, I've already learned this. I already know what I'm looking for without even realising. Do you know what I mean? So note work is a very important part of the step of the process. So this probably took me about three weeks, I reckon, of studying. We've done about this much. I do have videos on my channel if you want, you know, when I was doing it about 7 months ago, if you want to actually see that. But the note work was a very important part of the process. It's the first part of the process. And yeah. So just to wrap up this section, the note work is, I found, the foundation to start with. Do you know what I mean? When you're building a house, you lay the foundation that everything can build off from then. So the note work is that foundation. So let's keep going. So now we've got the quote unquote, as some people might say, the boring bit out of the way, the note work out of the way. This is where we jump into, at least, well, when I was learning from Kyle, we kind of started the TradingView and Notion at the same time, but we went into the Notion first and built up the trading workspace, as we call it, so that when we start the next part, which was naked charting, it's already there built up. So let's write this down on here. Let's keep going. So step 3 is building. Yeah. So I'm gonna need my laptop for this, so I'll get that in a sec. But yeah, so the next step for us was building the basic trading workspace. When I load my laptop up and I'll show you now, it will look different because obviously I've expanded on it since. But I'll go into what the first bits that I started logging was. And Notion's a really, really helpful tool to be able to build up your own personal workspace. You can keep all of your data there, everything you've learned in like a comprehensive, you know, quite personal as well. You can lay out however way you want. Like Carl showed me how to use it, but then I've got mine set up differently to how he's got it up. We've all got the same things in there. You know, he's got more than me because he's a lot further on the journey, but we've all got the same basic principles in there. But it's a great place to keep your the management strategy, all your naked charting data, all your backtesting data, all your setups, your checklists, any notes that you've got to make in there. And then we've started setting up the high probability trading gallery. So any high probability trades in there, you can log them in there so you know what you're looking for. But what I'm gonna do now, I'm gonna grab my laptop, I'm gonna load up OBS, and then yeah, we'll go into it and I'm going to show you exactly what I mean. So let's do that right now. So we've now loaded up Notion, and you know, when you first jump in, this isn't what your Notion will look like when you actually jump in. If I do new page, this is what it'll look like. It'll look like a blank slate, new page, you'll have nothing on it. This is where you can do this, return, and then you can customize anything from here, but I'm going to leave that. So we're going to go in trading workspace. So this is what I've currently had built up. So when we first started, the first thing that we did was we set up the resources page, and we went into the naked charting. So go into here. Obviously I've now got all of this completed, but obviously when I started building it, we create the new page, go into naked charting. The naked charting I did was for the price action of the year of 2021, and then you go in Q1 and you start in January 2021. So this is where we would log everything for naked charting. So this is the note. So this is what my Notion is. So I've got my trade plan, my back testing, my naked charting, prop firm analysis. So that's where I can it states in the name. I can review prop firms, give them ratings. It's good to research, you know, where you're thinking of investing your money. The other bit that we would have done at the start would have been the notes and tweaks section as well. So writing down some notes on, you know, what a V for volatility is. You know, just basic stuff really. Market close, weekend gap. So obviously when I first started, this is stuff that, you know, might not have been too ingrained in my memory. Most recent highs and lows, this took me a while to get a grasp on. But yeah, so, you know, Notion is a place in your trading journey where if you're using it, you're going to be coming back here a lot. This is your hub for all your knowledge. Do you know what I mean? You know, I can't keep all of my results from backtesting and all of my naked chart in my brain. It's just not, it's not feasible. Do you know what I mean? It's just not going to work at all. So Notion is a great place to store all your information, and you keep track of your progress as well. You know, when you're doing backtesting, you know, all your results are logged in here. So if you're ever questioning about like the confidence in the strategy, the results are there. The results are there to see. You can see the percentage return you've been doing in your data, and then the more you backtest, you can see the improvements you've been doing as well. So the Notion's a really, really useful tip. I mean, I'm not a master in it whatsoever. I know from when we went to the Zentum trading meetup, I know Griff Trades is a great channel. Shout out Griff Trades. If you want to learn any trading, he started learning it as well. God, I don't know how many years he's been in the game now, but he's now a founder of Zentum Trading, and you can see he's got the receipts for it as well. So he started learning it and posting videos, you know, in a similar fashion to how I am now, and now he's running his own trading school. So if you're looking to learn anything about trading, you know, Griff Trades, Marco's trading journey, and then there's another. I'll put his name up there as well. It's gone off the top of my head now, but all three of the like founders of Zentum Trading, great for all your knowledge. And then also, you know, shout out KBFX if you want to, you know, learn some raw and real truth about the trading market. Shout out Carl, man. Go support him all day long. So I think that's about it for just the basics of Notion. I'm going to be coming back and forth into Notion throughout the whole video, showing you how I built it up step by step, and then, you know, the actual more intricate details in it. So yeah, Notion, very important part of your trading journey. If you want to keep everything in check, if you want to keep everything stored in one place, and you know, mate, it's free as well. This is a free software, so use it to your ability. Keep everything logged. Build up your trading workspace. Build up your information, all your data, and you're gonna be on the right track. So we're gonna jump straight into the next part, which is naked charting. So let's get into it. What a donut, man. So I actually did record this bit, but my phone had stopped recording. Love that. So the next part in the journey, at least in my journey, is the naked charting. So as I just said, but I'm gonna have to redo this again. Naked charting, I found, is best way to explain it is like learning how to read the market, learning how to read the language of the market. So everything we were studying in the note work, such as ascending and descending channels, what a shifting momentum is, you know, inside bars, liquidity areas, V for volatility, is learning how to spot all of these in the market. So you would go through the year candle by candle, and a week at a time is how we done it. So you'd flick through candle by candle, a week at a time, and you'd go through and you would note and what's the word? Can't remember, but you would go through and you draw on and then note what they are. So you'd note, so you draw on an ascending channel. When you see one, you draw the box on it. You'd write on ascending channel. So you're going through and you're basically analysing the data, learning how, you know, what the key points in the market are. Do you know what I mean? So when it comes to learning setups, these are going to be quite important, you know, like ascending channels and all these things like this. So I've got it written up here. I did write it, naked charting. So I'm gonna jump onto my trading view, and yeah, let me load this back up. So we're in Notion now, so naked charting. So this is where I started, so January 2021. So this is what I mean. So here we have a week in January, so obviously this is when I first started, so you'll see it as I go through month by month. You can see the analysis start to deepen. So you know, here we have key points of like liquidity area, liquidity grab, then rejected. We have like a noted ascending channel, liquidity grab, then shifting momentum. You know, this is really basic, to be fair. This is my understanding. You know, there's no way I was gonna be able to spot everything in this. So you go in trading view, you do this, and then you write down 3 key points about what you saw. So as we can go through, we can see the other stuff. So bullish momentum as well. So bullish momentum, ranges, V for volatility, continuation, shifting momentum. So you can see the key points. They start to get more detailed as it's going through here already. You can see all of these. When you load up TradingView, there's no indicators to what you're seeing. It looks like a bunch of nonsense, but all of this information is in there. It's just knowing how to see it, you know. So this is a great tool on being able to read the market, read the language of the market, you know what I mean, and see what's going on, just knowing how to understand it. So yeah, the key point is, once you've done this, is writing the key points about what you saw, and writing like an in-depth analysis about what's been going on in that week in the market. It's about expanding your knowledge about what you're seeing. It's about really trying to explain what's been going on in that week in the market. Do you know what I mean? It's like you need to explain it. So I've done a year of this, so you know, you can go to June 21 here. So we've got all of these, and the explanations, I mean, as you can see, I did get quite carried away with them, but you know, this is all going to help your knowledge in the market. And it's, when it comes to doing backtesting, you won't need to draw all of these things on. You'll know, you'll spot it, you'll see it. Do you know what I mean? Then this is what this is doing. You go through and you draw and you annotate all of these points and all of the everything you see in the market, so that when it comes to backtesting, you can just read it. You know what you're seeing without having to physically draw it on. So this took me, I have a video posted on when I finished this. I think this probably took me about 2 months, I think, to do. And I got to the end here where, you know, I am quite proud of this, to be fair. I've got a lot of detailed explanations in here. This is a really key part in the training journey. You know, you can't learn a language and then just expect to be able to speak it fluently without even knowing what the words are. So you need to do your naked charting. You need to go through and analyze and annotate and figure out what is happening in the market and explain it, you know, because in retrospect, this is me explaining it to myself. This is me reinforcing that I know what's going on in the market. So naked charting, that is, you know, looking back at it, naked charting is a very important step in the process that I didn't even know existed, but this is a very important step. This will help you a lot when it comes to starting backtesting, more than you might even realise. So after you've done your note work, after you've built Notion, naked chart, at least 1 year, and don't cheap out on it. Don't just try and skip it and try and, you know, really go in depth with it. Do you know what I mean? Because all of this is going to help you when you get into the backtesting, and all this is going to help your knowledge. Do you know what I mean? This is what you're trying to do. You're trying to build up your knowledge, trying to build up your understanding of the market. You're trying to build up the knowledge on what is occurring in the market without indicators, being able to read and understand. So naked charting, I think that's it for this section. I think I've covered everything. It's, you know, there's not really too much to talk about here. We're going to jump into the fun part now. Well, it can be fun, but it also can be a bit nerve-wracking, which will be back testing. And this is the point where, you know, I'll save it for the next session, but yeah, back testing, that's the next part. Let's go. Right, so as we said last, so next part of the journey is back testing, and more importantly, setting up our trade plan and the setups, learning the setups. So I did originally write back testing on the board up here, as you can see, but the camera has been playing up a bit, so it hasn't been perfect. But what you would do before ever jumping into TradingView is we'd load up Notion here, get out of this. So you would set up a trade plan. So obviously trade plans are very dependent on who you're learning through, but this is our one. So you set up your entry and your management and your invalidation schemes. Obviously I'm trading on AUD USD, so this has the pair characteristics and high probability price action for that currency pair. It differs for each currency pair. I'm going to ignore these two because this is not what I started with, but the first two that I learned would have been the flag and the continuation. So as you can see here, I've built up the checklist and kind of like a rough guide on what we're looking for with the flag and the continuation. Obviously these work in both directions, in a buy and a sell, short and long. So this is important. So when you first start back testing, your confidence in the trade you're looking at might not be is likely not going to be very high. You're not going to be very confident in what you're in being able to place a trade. So this helps in being able to come through and tick off these checklists. So if you're unsure on the trade, you can come through and then tick off, you know, has it got an impulsive break, especially through liquidity areas. So yeah, you come through and you tick off these checklists if you're unsure, and this will give you the confidence in the trade. Obviously, as you get more experience, you're likely not going to be coming back to this as much because, you know, your checklist is in your head. You know what you're looking for. So this is what we would have built before going into TradingView. So once you've built your trade plan, you then build your back testing check log. So I've done 2021 twice. I'm going to go into the V2 because I took a trade in the earlier months than V1. But I'll go into this one first, so just to give you guys a summary. So as you can see, in the first year that I back tested, I had lost minus 1.77%. So there you go. That's a real, you know, this is really what you're going to be. This is going to really what's going to happen when you first start back testing. You know, the likelihood that you make profit in your back testing first year is quite slim because you're not, you don't necessarily know what you're looking for, and you know, you're just getting your foot in the game. You know, you shouldn't be too scared to log. You know, that's important as well. Never lie in your data. You know, the data is what helps you improve. If you're lying in your data, you're lying to yourself, and you're not going to improve. So I'm going to get out of this though. So 2021, so March the 24th is where I'm going to go back to in TradingView. So here we are. So March 21. So when you load it in, this is what you would be looking at. So you'd be looking at a blank canvas, and you would come back to the year 2021 through replay trading, and then down here is where you select the date, and you can select bar and do this and remove the forward. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to skip forward a bit, and what I'm going to do is what you would also have been learning is how to set your highs, line, higher, lower, higher. So that would actually be there. So you'd set your highs and your lows. So you use these to gauge the direction of the market. If it breaks the high, we'll be looking for longs. If it breaks the low, we're looking for shorts. In like a rough kind of, obviously it's not as black and white as that, but in a kind of brief explanation, that's what we'd be looking for. But I'm going to just remove these. So what we do is, this is the trading log, like the log of your trades on TradingView. So obviously down here I've got my first trade in the second year of backtesting now done. So we're going to skip forward to this. So let me take that back here. So this here is what we can call a continuation. So as we can see, we've had like a bit of a descending channel before the close of the market, and big kind of fairly big gap in the market. Market pushed up, filled the gap, and then we've had a big bearish momentum down, slight pullback, and then a very bearish 5 candle break down with a pullback, shows no shift in momentum, continued down with a solid break, and then a pullback that showed no shift in momentum. So this is where you would place the trade. So what you do is you place the trade. I'm not going to go in depth into it because I'm not like trying to explain too much about how our strategy works, just because there's not enough time. But you'd place this trade, you'd let it run through. Obviously, this would have come and took me out for 0.47%. So then you click, you journal this here, continuation short on the date, and then you would go back into Notion, and this is where you would log it. So you log it as a sell, 12 pip stop loss. It went 1.6 pips against us. You set the date, it's not a scaling, so leave that unchecked. It's a continuation, the return, and then we would open this here and we would write key points about the trade, just to, you know, reinforce in your mind what were the good key points about the trade and why you took it. This here, so journaling your trades, is a very key step in the journey. Being able to look through at the data and see, you know, as you can see here, I've took 1, 2, 3, 4 trades in this year, backtesting that lost, but I'd still managed to come back with a plus 2.81% return, which isn't crazy. Plus 2.8% is not like, it's not, you know, it's not gonna make you rich, but this is just about learning the market, getting used to taking trades, getting used to the setups, learning the entries, and journaling and improving through your data. So as you can see here, I've done 4 years worth of data now in AUD USD, and I'm thinking I'm gonna do 2025 up until the live market now as well, just to really reinforce it in. But this is the bread and butter of backtesting, is logging your trades. The importance of logging your trades cannot be stressed enough. If you don't log your trades, what are you really doing? If you're losing a trade and you're not logging it, you are just lying to yourself. You're lying to yourself, and you are like, you're sacrificing your own improvement in the game. You know, you're sacrificing your own improvement in the market, because if you're lying to yourself, then how are you ever going to learn? Do you know what I mean? So getting your head wrapped around logging your trades, getting your head wrapped around TradingView and logging your trades in here, and going through candle by candle. You know, we're not skipping through like this. Do you know what I mean? We're not flying through the candles. You know, you go through, you analyse the market, what's been going on in prior price action. You know, analyse the market. You can zoom out a bit. We only personally work in the 1 hour time frame. I know places like Falcon FX do a lot of time frames, so like the 1 hour, the 4 hour, the daily, and the weekly as analysis. But for me, because I'm only like learning in the basic market, I'm just starting in the hourly, just to really wrap my head around it. So that's something that you know, is to keep in mind. But like, it really depends on how you're learning it, what you're doing, but this is how we've done it. So the 1 hour time frame, flip through candle by candle, log your trades, journal your trades, be honest with yourself and be honest with your results, and you'll see the improvements over time. You will see the improvements. So that was the next step in the journey. So back testing, I've been back testing now for probably like 5 months, I'd say. I'm not too sure on the actual time frame. You can see after I finished my naked charting video, so once I finished naked charting, that's when I would have started this. So, you know, this here, as you can see, I've got all of these logged here. So this is a really crucial step. So backtesting is one of the most important parts of your trading. You know, before you get in the live market, you need to have the results that you make profit. Do you know what I mean? You need those results that you're making profit in the market. So backtest your trades, log your trades, journal them, be honest with yourself, and the improvements will come over time. That's what, back to the first point, time equals results. Do you know what I mean? I've been backtesting for like 5-6 months now, and I'm definitely not stopping now. So the improvements are always going to be coming. So let's go on to the next part. Right, so we're out of trading view, and this is the next kind of honourable mention. This isn't necessarily like you need it for your trading journey, but I think this has been quite important for me. So goals, gratitudes and affirmations. So in a summary, I'm not really going to go too much into it because it's just kind of like a side piece for me, but this is where you would every day write out your goals, what you're grateful for, and affirmations. So like affirmations is in writing out that I would like to be a profitable trader, or I want to be a qualified electrician. So it's helped me stay consistent with my goals in trading and my goals outside of trading, just life in general, everything that I need to get done day to day. And it keeps you, you know, it's kept me consistent. It's kept me accountable for myself. You know, you're signing this piece of paper to yourself that this is what you're going to get done for the day. And I think personally for me, that's helped me stay consistent week in, week out, not day in, day out. You know, I'm not going to be doing back testing or naked charting every day. It's not. I've got a life outside of this. But week in, week out, you know, being consistent in doing the tasks that I need to get done for the day, writing out my gratitudes, what I'm grateful for, and writing out my affirmations to reinforce into my mind that these are the goals that I'm striving towards, you know. And it's not for everyone, you know. I was a bit hesitant, and you know, I still slip on it sometimes, you know. I'll do sometimes, you know, not write them out every day, but I do try to be consistent with them. You know, I'm only human, but I do believe that it has helped keep me consistent in this journey with trading. So that's just like a short kind of piece that I wanted to delve into. Kyle's got a good video on his channel about goals and gratitudes that I'll put a link to in the video somewhere up there. But that's just a short little bit that I wanted to get in there. So another kind of honourable mention is, and this one I found has been very, very helpful for me, is the weekly hyper learning calls that I've been doing with my friends Kyle, Jamie, Jack, and also Bright. Shout out Bright. So what is hyper learning? So hyper learning is where we, as a group, as a collective, will go into like Discord. Somebody will be running the kind of the session where they have a trade that we're going to cover, and we're going to flick through as if we was back testing, analysing the market, and we're going to, as a group, as a team, analyse the market together and see whether or not we should take the trade, and see why we should take it, why we shouldn't take it, if there's any key points to look out for. And it's like almost as a group backtesting session. And you know, you don't always cover profitable trades in there. We tend to cover losses and wins as well, because losses can also be very helpful in, you know, sometimes there is a 10 out of 10 trade, perfect setup, and it doesn't put in return. So just because a trade loses doesn't mean that it loses value in its like high probability. You can have a 10 out of 10 high probability trade that will still lose. That is just the nature of the market. Just because a trade is a 10 out of 10 doesn't mean that it will be profitable. So that's something to keep in mind. But I find that these weekly hyper earnings, that I'm sure that I've got a video, I'm going to hopefully have put something in here that of us doing them, is a weekly thing we do. We do them every Wednesday, where we all get together and we all study and we all bounce ideas off each other and we all analyse together. And it's like a compounding knowledge. Like for me, in my backtesting journey, this has really helped solidify in me what I should be looking for, what's a high probability trade, what isn't a high probability trade, when to be in the market, when to stay out of the market. I can ask questions, you know, I can bounce ideas off them, and it's been a really useful thing for me to have that around me, you know. And this will bring me into the next point, that I'm going to keep the video rolling because I'm on this kind of flow right now. So number 8 of the honourable mentions is circle. I cannot stress enough. So a lot of the times in the trading world, in trading schools such as Zentum and even Falcon FX, if any of you know them, is having the community around you. So having a community, a circle of people around you that are also along the journey, that are also in similar points to you, is a really, really useful thing to have. Like not being alone and locking yourself off and having to do it all yourself is a blessing that you should be wanting to be in a community and have a circle of people around you that you can ask questions to, you can bounce ideas off, you can all grow and expand your knowledge together. You know, it's so hard to learn this on your own. You know, I don't believe that I would have learned or improved as fast as I have without having the circle of people around me to help me. You know, any questions that I've had, they're there for me to ask. You know, we're doing the weekly calls together. We're going to jump it up to 2 a week, Wednesdays and Fridays now. So having a circle of like-minded people around you is so beneficial to the studying, to the learning, to your progression. You know, you can't ever stress how much, you know, having people there to ask a question to is, you can't put a price on it. You know, that is so helpful to someone that's, you know, new in the game, and the need, you know, you're gonna need help in your journey. You know, you can't expect to get everything right. You can't expect to know everything. You're gonna need people to, you know, point you in the right direction. They're not gonna tell you everything. They're not gonna be able to just hold your hand and lead you through, but they're gonna, you know, be able to push you in the right direction. If you've got any unsure questions, they'll, you know, just do this, do that. So, you know, Zentum Trading, they have a really good community as well. Griff Trades, Marco, Nico, they have a good community. Falcon FX, they have a huge community, so that spans like pretty much across the country in the UK. Obviously, I have my close, tight-knit group of friends which we're all learning together, which I find has been very beneficial, because obviously, because we're all friends, we're in contact with each other every day. Like the fact that I've got a group of friends where we can all sit down collectively and study together is like, it's powerful. Do you know what I mean? I've been able to learn and grow my knowledge so quickly. So if you're thinking about getting involved in trading, get yourself in a trading community and ask questions. Put yourself out there. Don't be afraid to you know, admit that you don't know everything. You know, lower your ego, ask questions, admit that you don't know what you're doing, and people will help you, and you will grow. Do you know what I mean? That is like the key to the journey. Being able to admit where you're lacking and allow people to help you. That is an important step in the process of growing. So that's just a little point there that I wanted to make. So we're going to go on to the last and final step. So we have arrived at the daunting task of being able to purchase your first funding account. So that is the stage that I'm at right now. I have last week just purchased my first funding account with, I went with FTMO. So last week I purchased my account. So what the plan is now for me is to not change anything that I've been doing. I'm going to do exactly the same thing I've been doing. I'm going to be doing my weekly hyper earnings with the lads. I'm going to be doing my back testing. I'm going to be trying to learn new currency pairs, and I'm going to, it's going to take time, I have not got a time frame. I have no idea when I will, or, I might not pass the challenge, to be honest with you, but I'm confident that I'll pass it with time. But I'm not going to rush the process, I'm not putting a time frame on it. I'm not saying like, oh, I need to get this done by the end of the year. Nah, I've took the challenge and I'm going to do exactly what I've been doing, and I'm going to have my people around me there to help me. And with time, as we got here, with time, the results will come. I will pass the 50k funding challenge, and then hopefully from there I will keep expanding it. So yeah, it's a fun time, It's nice to know that the 8 months I've put into it have not paid off, but getting to me closer to a position of it paying off. So I'm excited to see what the future holds in this, and I just feel like I needed to make this video for anyone that just thinks you can just buy a funding challenge. I mean, look, by any means, yeah, go do that, but I really would not recommend it. This is the real truth in it, to be honest with you. It could take you a shorter amount of time. It might not take you 8 months. It might take you 4 months, or it might take you 2 years. It depends how you learn it. It depends what you're learning. It depends how complicated the system is that you're learning as well. There's so many factors that go into it, but it's took me 8 months of pure studying to even get to a point where I can just purchase the funding challenge, and I haven't even took a trade on the live account yet, and the market's looking a little bit slow right now, so I don't know when I will take a trade on it. But that is the raw reality of it. You cannot jump in the game and expect to get money instantly. You can't expect to get paid out. You can't expect to pay somebody to do a funding challenge for you. It's you got to put in the time. If you want the results, you've got to put in the time. So before I waffle on, I'm going to start the video now. So hope you guys have enjoyed that video. This has been a good one for me to make. And yeah, I'm going to keep you updated on the progression in the funding challenge. I'm not going to post too many videos on it. I'll just, if any steps in the journey of it, I'll hopefully make some videos on it. But yeah, if there's any questions that anyone's got, I don't know how many people will see this, drop a comment below. I'll be happy to try and help. I mean, I'm not an expert in this whatsoever. I've only just got my foot in the door. So if you've got any questions, I'll be hopefully happy to point you in the right direction. If you need any channels, look at Falcon, look at Zentum, KBFX, Marco, Nico and Griff from Zentum, Ibi Anzari from Falcon, Mark Hutchinson from Falcon, all very educational and real people in the trading scene. I can't vouch for anyone else because there probably is other people, but that's what I know and I can trust them. So I'm telling you now, if you need people to look at, to trust, go to all of them channels. I'll have them all linked in the description. So appreciate you guys sitting through the video, and yeah, let's keep going. Road to funded, baby. Let's have it.